So Clown in a Cornfield released this weekend, but is it worth your time? Don't worry, I've got your spoiler-free movie review right here. So Clown in a Cornfield tells the story of high schooler Quinn and her father as they move to the town of Kettle Springs. Upon arriving in the town, they realize that tensions are quite high between the older people and younger people in the town. And when those tensions inevitably boil over, a clown emerges from a nearby cornfield and begins to cleanse the town by killing people. I went into this movie knowing absolutely nothing. I didn't see a poster, I didn't see a trailer, I didn't read a plot synopsis. I went in with a completely open mind. However, from the title of the film, I could tell that this wasn't going to be some deep movie that had thought-changing ideas and lots of themes that go very deep. I could tell that this was supposed to just be a good time. Unfortunately, this film did not deliver the good time that I was hoping to experience. You can tell that this film is really going for that 2000 to 2010 horror vibe where they were just making fun horror comedies that you could go throw a bunch of popcorn in your face, enjoy, laugh with some friends, and watch gruesome kills on screen. But this movie doesn't quite hit the nail on the head like those early 2000s horror films did. For the first 30 to 45 minutes of this movie, I couldn't tell what the vibe was. Most horror films that are fun and silly and ridiculous immediately tell you what kind of film it's going to be within the first 10 minutes. There's usually some outrageous scene where something ridiculous happens that is clearly made to poke fun at characters and certain horror tropes, and you can tell that the audience is laughing with the film and they get a sense of what kind of movie they're about to watch. But for the first 30 minutes of this film, nothing happens. I was struggling to stay engaged with the characters and with the story because it was just so boring. And all of the comedy that they went for in the first 30 minutes didn't come off as funny, it came off as awkward. The writing and the characters, it was all so weird, but not in a good way. I hate using this word, but it was making me cringe. It just, the dialogue and everything was so off-putting. It just felt like an awkward film. And the film takes an extraordinarily long time to get going. By the time you're actually having fun with this movie, you're already 60 minutes into the film. Albeit the last 30 minutes of this film is pretty enjoyable, but that first hour, man, it was hard to get through. I mean, I was getting bored. And it's not good to be bored in a movie that is only 90 minutes long. This is one of those movies that I can definitely see working on paper. Like if I read the script to this film, it has a lot of interesting ideas with little tidbits of things that could work if they are executed well. But unfortunately, the film does not execute any of the clever ideas that are in the script well. It was very lackluster filmmaking, and it kind of came off as cheap, which the film is cheap, so I get that that's what they have to do, but I was just hoping that there would be a little more effort put into the execution of the ideas in the script. And because the filmmaking is somewhat lazy, the film came off as boring. With horror movies like this, you really gotta find that sweet spot between lots of blood and gore that people can laugh at and have a good time with, and the comedy aspect of the film. It's a very hard thing to balance in today's day and age. A lot of those 2000s horror movies did it very well, but this movie gets stuck somewhere in the middle. There's not enough comedy for me to be laughing and having a good time, and there's not enough gore to be laughing and having a good time. There's just a little bit of each, and because of that, it never quite finds the tone that I think the filmmakers were going for. Still, this was a perfectly okay time at the theaters. I will probably never watch this movie again, and I'll completely forget that I even saw it in about a week. There were some decent parts that I found enjoyment with, but unfortunately, I think the bad outweighs the good with this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and give Clown in a Cornfield a 2.2 out of 5. I'm assuming this movie will find its way to streaming fairly soon, so if you like comedy horror stuff that gets a little ridiculous in the third act, give it a watch, but I don't think it's anything special. So if you guys have seen Clown in a Cornfield, let me know what you think down in the comments, and I'll see y'all in the next review.